Welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast, where you learn how to extract your business and personal deep wealth. I'm your host, Jeffrey Feldberg. This podcast is brought to you by Deep Wealth and the 90-Day Deep Wealth Experience. When it comes to your business deep wealth, your exit or liquidity event is the most important financial decision of your life. But unfortunately, up to 90% of liquidity events fail. Think about all that time and your hard-earned money wasted. Of the quote-unquote successful liquidity events, most business owners leave 50% to over 100% of the deal value in the buyer's pocket and don't even know it. I should know. I said no to a seven-figure offer and yes to mastering the art and the science of a liquidity event. 2 years later, I said yes to a different buyer with a 9-figure deal. Are you thinking about an exit or liquidity event? Don't become a statistic and make the fatal mistake of believing the skills that built your business are the same ones to sell it. After all, how can you master something you've never done before? Let the 90-Day Deep Wealth Experience and the 9-step roadmap of preparation help you capture the best deal instead of any deal. At the end of this episode, take a moment and hear from business owners like you who went through the Deep Wealth Experience. Money and happiness expert Ken Honda is a best-selling self-development author in Japan with book sales surpassing 8 million copies since 2001. His latest book is called Happy Money, The Japanese Art of Making Peace with Your Money. Welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast, and you heard it in the official interview. Wow, do we have a guest lined up for you today? He is changing the world over 8 million books sold, and he's paying it forward. And I've got to share with you, he's very modest and humble. And I know offline I saying, Ken, how can we be of service for you? Jeffrey, you know what, if I can just pay it forward, if I can change one person, open their heart, I'm good. You don't hear that often. So Ken, welcome to the Deep Wealth Podcast. A true pleasure, delight to have you with us. And Ken, I'm curious. There's always a story behind the story. What's your story, Ken? What got you to where you are today?
Thank you, Jeffrey. Before I begin, I want to show my deepest appreciation. I really appreciate you for inviting me to your show. And this is such a great honor and also a privilege for me to share what I know about money, especially happy money. To make a quick version, I was born into a very successful tax accountant. My father was a very successful one, and my mother was a stay-at-home, regular Japanese housewife. Mm-hmm. So I grew up in a household where money was a topic of a dinner table, which is very unique. He started teaching me about money since I was 5 or 6. So I quickly learned about money. I asked many questions, including my father and my uncles and my father's clients, and I could harass them with jargons. What's your ROE, sir? What's your turnout ratio and stuff like that, without me knowing what they are, what they mean. And so I learned very quickly about money, and that is how I started.
What a very humble start. And Ken, I'm wondering though, because with what you've written before, this is not your first rodeo, and you've done books on this topic. Why is it that money is such a taboo around the world? People really chase after the money, but they don't talk a lot about it. And there's that old saying, if you want to see the best in a person or the worst in a person, either take away all their money or give them a lot of money. So what's going on? People are people, regardless of country. Mm-hmm. Why is that? What do you think from what you've seen or what you've learned over the years?
Yeah, Jeffrey, you're asking a great question. And I think money can pull out the best and the worst in you, because money pulls out your emotions, positive or negative. People feel the happiest when they get a lot of money, and people feel the worst when they screw up with money. So a lot of people, even the smart people, make so much money, but they lose it in the process, and they sometimes kill themselves because they couldn't take the failure financially. Yes. So, and also among couples and family members, people worry about money. People blame each other for financial issues. So that's why we experience the best and the worst of life around money.
And as you talk about that, then Ken, so I'm wondering, it can bring out the best in us, the worst in us as people go through the different experiences to get that. And so I know you are a master at really getting right to the point for people of how they can have money in their life in a positive way, because money, there's that saying, and it's not true, but people say, well, money is the root of all evil. And it's not
Mhm.
money itself that's the root of all evil. It's when people, how we worship it or not, or how we treat it. So going to the old Pareto's law, 80% of the issues that people have with money are probably coming from 20% of the same reasons, give or
Yes,
take either side of
right.
that. So where are we getting it wrong as people, regardless whether we're like your mother was, who's taking care of the house, she's CEO of the household, or we're CEO of
Mhm.
a business? It's really one and the same. So where do we get it wrong? What have you seen with all the people that you've dealt with?
I think we are so disturbed with money emotionally. That's
Uh-huh.
what all the problems seem to come. The highest financially savvy, I call them high money IQ people,
Mm-hmm.
make stupid mistakes emotionally
Mm-hmm.
because they have low money EQ. So
Mm-hmm.
unless you have high money EQ, everything could be bad. Even though you make billions of dollars, you still feel like a failure
Mm-hmm.
because it gives you the emotion in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
I've interviewed people with private jets and I asked them, do you feel successful? And they said no, because all their friends have bigger yachts, bigger private jets. So they sometimes complain that my private jet only seats 6 people, where his friends have like big jumbo jet. So unless you are in this money struggle, unless you clear this issue emotionally, it doesn't really matter how much money you make or how much money you accumulate.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you form your relationship with money
Mm-hmm.
emotionally.
And so, can you talk to us about that? Because you're right, no matter how successful anyone is, there's always someone who will be wealthier or
Right.
smarter or more successful. That's just how it is. So, how can we welcome happiness for exactly where we are right now, regardless of a private jet or no private jet or everything else in between? What should we be thinking about?
I think it's just comparison. If you
Mm-hmm.
compare with yourself with others, you feel lousy.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know when is enough, how much is enough for you.
Mm-hmm.
And also the other thing is like the energy in your life is what counts.
Mm-hmm.
So the energy of money, for example, if you make a lot of people happy and receive money, you feel happy. But if you
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of other people, you cannot sleep well. It's the energy that comes with money decides whether you can stay happy or not. And also, when you spend money, do you spend money with joy or do you
Mm-hmm.
spend money with frustration? So that's another thing.
It's interesting. And Ken, for our listeners, in the show notes, we'll have a link to your newest book, Happy Money, The Japanese Art of Making Peace with Your Money. And so, Ken, with what you're talking about right now, I know in the introduction, you waste no time, you get right to it. And the introduction, you call it happy money and unhappy money.
Yes.
So, is this what you're talking about right now in terms of how we're viewing the money and spending it with
Yes.
joy or
Mhm.
anger or frustration?
Right. So happy money makes you smile when you receive it and
Mm-hmm.
gives you joy when you spend it, either when you pay bills or pay taxes or you pay at the cashier or at the restaurant. Do you feel joyful when you
Mm-hmm.
spend the money? And then you find yourself in the flow of happy money. But unfortunately, most of us, I'd say 95% of us,
Mm-hmm.
are living in the flow of unhappy money. When we receive money,
Mm-hmm.
we get frustrated. We feel it's not fair that I get this little, whereas other people make millions of dollars. And
Mm-hmm.
also, when we pay bills, we complain about the prices going up, and then we feel squeezed and frustrated because it's harder now to make both ends meet. So we deal with money in frustration. So I call it unhappy money.
With the question I'm going to ask, we may get into chapter 4, the flow of money, with what I'm going to ask. But let me ask you this. Let's imagine now that a person said, okay, Ken, you know what? I'm going to stop comparing myself to other people. And
Mhm.
if they have more, I'm happy for them. Good for them. That's terrific.
Yes.
And all is well and good from that side. But I know people are listening and saying, Ken, how does that work exactly when I'm paying a huge bill? Maybe it's a tax bill to the IRS or some
Mhm.
other big bill. why should I be feeling happy about that? Because most people, the way that we're brought up, we're trained, and I know you don't agree with this, I don't agree with this, but the common thinking is, well, geez, paying a big bill, you're depleting your bank account, it's scarcity, there might not be enough left, maybe your check's going to bounce, and on that negative thinking goes. How do we change that framework? And why should we be saying, oh, wow, I'm grateful for paying this very large bill?
So when you have to pay taxes, for example, my mentor Wahei Takeda, who used to be called Warren Buffett of Japan, said, you don't have a choice if it's amount that you have to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do that in gratitude or do you want to pay in grudges? And if you have a choice, it'd be happier if you think, I could afford, I get a bill this high because I could make a lot of money this year. That means a lot of people paid you. So your clients, your customers chose you out of thousands of other competitors or companies. So you can appreciate so much because with all the clients' trust and appreciation to you, they paid you. As a result, you made a profit. That way, you can pay the taxes. So instead of paying grudges that you have to pay this much, can you shift your awareness into more appreciation? And if you keep doing that, you don't have to feel that your money will be depleted because money is air. It comes and it goes. You breathe in and you breathe out. You cannot breathe for the next week. You have to breathe out in order to breathe. And the food is the same thing when you eat, but if you refuse to go to the bathroom, you are the one who suffers. So you have to release well to stay healthy.
Absolutely. And I know you're talking about the myth of scarcity, and we've been brushing the edges around that. So, with what you're saying, then, Ken, what could be a strategy that a listener coming out of this interview today could say, okay, I've grown up with this myth of scarcity, that there's only so much money to go around, and either someone wins and I lose, or I win and someone else loses, it's scarcity. How can we shift and eliminate the scarcity money mindset into an abundance money mindset? What would you say?
I think you have to start somewhere. And I think appreciation is really the key.
Okay.
My mentor, Wahei Takeda, said, Arigato your money. So that means arigato in, arigato out. When money comes in, you can say thank you to the money. When money goes out of your life, you can say thank you for staying with me. By doing that, you can start the cycle of appreciation.
Okay.
And if you can be more creative in coming up with ways to create more happy money in your life, you can increase your income by working extra hours, by doing what you love, or just changing jobs or going on your own. Either way, you start sharing who you are and what you do. By doing that, you can make a lot of people happy. As a result, you get more money. So if you're not entertaining other people with what you love, you're just living in a boring life because anybody can do it for you. So you have to find something that creates more happy money by doing what you love.
And so that's a nice way to look at the scarcity and how to begin to really take that myth and just dispel it. And I know you also talk about in the book, and something that's unfortunately become more popular than ever through social media, the fear of missing out, FOMO. Regardless of the social platform, we don't need to name them. We all know who they are. And by the time this episode comes out, maybe there's a new one. But it's all the same thing. You're seeing people who are taking a snapshot, one shot of a day, and maybe that was the only moment that they were happy, the rest of the day that they were miserable. But we're not seeing that. So we're seeing what they want us to see it. But wow, does it look enticing and luxury and success. And it's just dripping and oozing out of what we're seeing, that even at the best of times, it can be hard to watch that continuously. So people know, okay, like you're saying, I shouldn't compare myself to anyone else but myself, and fear of missing out, I shouldn't have that, but it's a human condition. So how can we immunize ourselves when we're seeing these kinds of images or stories or hearing people on social media talk about this?
So I wrote a short essay one time. If you want to be happy, stay out of social media. Because, whatever you see is going to make you feel miserable. We're competing against one another, how miserable you can make other people feel. So it's not really a healthy attitude, So if you just don't want to bother by looking at other people's highest happiness level,
Mm-hmm.
You should stay away from it. And if you can celebrate, this is how you can practice your abundant mentality. If you
Mm-hmm.
can just celebrate your friends getting married, friends getting
Mm-hmm.
promotion, and friends are starting their a successful business, you can congratulate them. And the mantra, affirmation I can share with you
Mm-hmm.
is I'm next. Whenever
Mm-hmm.
somebody's getting married with a beautiful woman or gentleman, you can say, wow, great. I'm happy for her or
Mm-hmm.
him. And you can say, I'm next. So whenever there's somebody's going to an exotic vacation, you
Mm-hmm.
can say, wow, nice vacation. I'm next. So if you can celebrate them and you
Mm-hmm.
can say, I'm next,
Mm-hmm.
probably you can shift the mindset.
What a terrific mantra. I'm next. So you're happy for the person. Hey, terrific for you. And I'm next if that's something that resonates with you.
Yes, when your friend getting married, there's a toss of a bouquet.
That's right. Yes.
Then whenever you see a social media beautiful picture,
Mm-hmm.
you can feel that you catch the bouquet and then, oh, I'm next.
It's terrific. And it's not the topic for this episode, but with what you're sharing, that feeling of joy, quantum physics and the field is now proving this to be the case, that what we feel is oftentimes what we manifest in our lives.
Yes, exactly. So whatever you see, she or he is expanding your horizon. You can go to Africa, you can go to Hawaii, you can go to Japan or wherever you want to go. Your friend is doing it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go there next.
And Ken, as we're going along and you're sharing these beautiful insights and wisdom and all the strategy, I know that one of your nicknames is you're the Zen Millionaire.
Hmm.
And so it's an interesting combination of words. Zen and millionaire, you wouldn't necessarily put together.
Hmm.
So on that one, Ken, how did that come to be? I mean, what's the story behind the story on that?
Yeah. So some people might think I'm a minimalist.
Okay.
I'm not. I have four houses, and one of them is a retreat center.
Mm-hmm.
And then where 60 people can sit and have lunch and dinner at.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not a minimalist Zen practitioner. But at the same time, I have found peace with money by using Zen method. The most important essence of Zen is find your true balance,
Mm-hmm.
neutral place in you, a
Mm-hmm.
positive and negative, more and less. If you can come to find the right place for you, you can find true peace in it. So you can have as much as money as you want, but at the same time, you don't need it as much as you want. So it's like you have it, but you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a millionaire, but you don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
If money becomes air, you breathe in money like air, you breathe out money like air, the money is gone in your life. So if that happens, I think you can find true peace. In that
Mm-hmm.
sense, you can achieve the Zen type of peace of mind. And at the same time, you can achieve financial independence.
And Ken, as you're talking about this, and for our listeners, I really have to share with you that what Ken is saying, maybe you haven't heard it in quite those words or the strategies as he's presenting it, but I've got to tell everyone who's listening, it's absolutely all true because Ken, before my liquidity event and after my liquidity event, there was a big difference in the number of zeros in my bank account.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I can tell you is, does money make you happy? No, money does not make you happy. It can make life easier. It can
Mm-hmm.
be the oil that greases things, but the happiness doesn't come from the money because if you're not happy, at least in my experience, I found it can be a bottomless pit and there's no end in sight. And so, with that in mind, I wanted to ask you a question because when I was researching, and you're a prolific writer, obviously, with your books, but also the articles that you do. And there's one statement that you said, I believe it was a Forbes article, and it really struck me. And you asked, it's a rhetorical question, but a beautiful one. Want to be wealthy, happy, peaceful? Say thank you. It's that simple. So little says so much. So for our listeners who are saying, what? Two words? Thank you? Happy, wealthy, peaceful? How would you explain that to our listeners?
So let me talk about my mentor who passed away a few years
Oh,
ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Once again, his name is Wahei Takeda, who
Mm-hmm.
one time was a major shareholder of more than 100 public companies.
Wow.
So it's huge. One time I had a 10-second with him. Just imagine you had a chat with Warren Buffett. What would you
Mm-hmm.
ask?
Mm-hmm.
So I asked the most important question: what is the secret to money?
Uh-huh.
And Wahei smiled And he said, Arigato your money. And then I got pushed away from behind. And during the 2 months, I kept thinking, what is Arigato your money? Thank you, money. And I had 3 or 4 hours with him by myself. And I could ask him deeper philosophical Zen questions. And what I found out is by appreciating money, money appreciates. So whatever you put your appreciation energy toward, it appreciates. If love comes into your way, appreciate your love. Appreciate the love coming in. And then love appreciates. If you appreciate or embrace friendship grows. If you embrace peace grows. And Wahei taught me in such a simplicity. So whatever you want, you appreciate, it appreciates.
And so, as you're saying that, Ken, and it makes sense. I mean, it's scientific terms. We'll hear a funny two words: reticular activation. And the scientists say, well, whatever is front and center for you. So, as an example, if I'm walking by and I see a blue sweater, a beautiful blue sweater, but the store is closed, but wow, I could really see myself getting that blue sweater. Everywhere I walk now, I see blue sweaters. So has it been that the blue sweaters are magically appearing, or were they always there, but they're invisible to me because it wasn't of interest? So I hear what you're saying with the appreciation. I'm thinking of a listener now who's saying, okay, Ken, I hear what you're saying, a Zen mindset and approaching money. I get that. How do you handle, though, the listener is saying when, hey, you know what? Are we going to make payroll this week? Or can I pay that mortgage bill? Or how am I going to support the family when the money just isn't there? How do I have that Zen approach to money when there can be a painful side to not having the money and there's pressure and stress that goes along with that? So what would you say to that listener?
I understand that your situation, but that is why you need to start appreciating what you have. And instead of focusing what you don't have. Let me share with you about one of my students who was a single mom, and she was complaining about her low pay at her company. And after learning about this appreciation technique, she started counting her blessings. And 2 minutes ago, she was complaining about her stingy boss not giving her any raise for 5 years and then no bonuses. But I asked her, isn't there anything that you can appreciate him for? And she thought for a moment. She said, no. But after a minute, she said, okay, there's one. I didn't go to college, so I don't have any college diploma, but still he hired me. And I said, that's a great thing, isn't it? And she said, oh, that's true. And she started just focusing toward more appreciation. So a few weeks later, she got a big raise. She didn't do anything. She just started feeling appreciation for her boss. And I assume her boss felt it. And then he forgot to pay appreciation to her. So in a few weeks, she got a big raise and a big bonus. It happened because she appreciated him, and then he appreciated her back. So this appreciation system is not a spiritual thing. It works. Because if you appreciate your boss or the company or your clients, they appreciate you back. So either your money tight situation will change, or you will get fired, and then you have to start going on your own business. And then a lot of people are getting fired by a boring company job, and then they have to go on their own, and then they end up being successful. So your tight money situation could be a blessing in disguise. So I understand that the cost of rising prices could hurt you and stress you out. It's like a wake-up call for you to seriously taking money issues in your heart. And then you get to be more creative. How can I serve more? How can I take advantage of what I have and serve people more? As a result, you get more money than you get paid. The reason why you're tight with money, there are only two things. You get paid too little or you spend too much. A lot of financially challenged people spend too much because they feel the stress of money. They try to solve it by spending it. Wealthy people don't necessarily need to spend money to get rid of their stress. So if you are spending too much, you have to ask yourself, next time you put your credit card out, am I going to die if I don't buy this now? Is this truly essential for my survival? It's no. So if you just spend less and make more, you'll be free from financial stress in a matter of months.
So true. What you're saying is such timeless wisdom. And on the surface, it sounds so easy, but often doing what's right isn't easy. And there's a lot to be said with that. And Ken, I'm wondering, imagine now it was a family member or a loved one that they were going to Mars, just to make up this crazy story. They're going to Mars and you can't contact them or speak with them on a regular basis. And you can only give them one piece of advice as it pertains to the Zen of money and just money and mindset and wealth and everything else. And they have to live by this now because they're going to be on Mars for the next while. And who knows when you're going to speak to them next. What would that one thing be that you'd be telling this loved one or family member from everything that you've learned from your mentor, from all the books that you've written, from the people that you've coached, your businesses? If you could distill that down to one thing, if that's even possible, what would that be?
Life is to be enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for suffering, and money can help you do that. Don't make money a bad person. Life is to be enjoyed. So
Mm-hmm.
money can help you as if it was your best friend. Just focus on what you love to do
Mm-hmm.
and let money help you instead of money getting in the way of what you want to do. And money can help you wonders if
Mm-hmm.
you just let it.
Such wise advice. And I know that you've begun mentoring now and you have online mentoring. So, what's going on with that? I can imagine a listener who's saying, this is a really different way from anything that I've heard of looking at money, but it resonates with me. And I wouldn't mind changing my mindset and having some guidance. I mean, a book is always great. At the same time, though, it's a book and it's myself, and it can get lonely sometimes, not having someone to talk to.
Right.
So, with your mentoring program, what's that all about? How does that work? And what would someone begin to experience and appreciate?
So I started this online salon in Japan, and now it's expanding it to English-speaking people.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do something so people can learn from each other. We are starting an international community with about 600 people, including Japan. It's a few thousand people. We learn about money, happy money, what we
Mm-hmm.
do, and how to find gifts and how to monetize gifts and all that. Every month we get together and I just share what I know and I answer questions, people from about 20 different countries. And I'm so enjoying my time with everybody every month. So it's called Arigato Living Community. It's about how to appreciate our life.
And, it's fascinating. Can all these different countries, different people, different backgrounds, is there a common theme that you're seeing in what people are sharing with you or asking you? Is there maybe one or two things that you're seeing time and time again in the online mentoring and the community?
Right. So a lot of us feel so much guilt around money,
Mm-hmm.
so much hesitance. We are
Mm-hmm.
so good at giving, but we are so bad at receiving because we feel guilty about being abundant and we
Mm-hmm.
are so guilty for expressing our life. And
Mm-hmm.
so we are learning from one another that, and also we are giving permission to one another that we can be more abundant, we can be guilt free,
Mm-hmm.
and we can just go for what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we are here for, right? Life is to be enjoyed. So you have to find what you do and
Mm-hmm.
just keep following it. For me, just teaching this kind of material with English speaking people,
Mm-hmm.
it's so much fun. I'm here in UK now
Mm-hmm.
and share my ideas with all my European authors.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to US and after that I'm going to Colombia. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
going the world 3 times this year. So I'm so excited to do that. I don't have to do this anymore for work. I'm financially independent. That's one of the great things. I don't have to ask money from people. I'm just
Yes.
here to share.
Yes. And paying it forward, making that difference, breaking down barriers. It's such a terrific way to go. And I suspect, as the saying goes, that oftentimes the giver receives more than the receiver from what you're doing
Yes.
and all the effort, time, and energy that you're putting into there. And Ken, I'm wondering, before we start wrapping things up, you said something interesting, and it's also true that as people, oftentimes we don't feel comfortable receiving. And you're right. And I'll put myself in that position, very happy to give. But there's times when for receiving, I feel awkward or guilty, or maybe it's not right. Or what about all the other people? And so, what would you say to someone like myself and everyone else who's listening in that, yes, Ken, how did you know that was my issue? That's exactly what's going on for all of our listeners. What's the antidote to that? What can we do?
I think for me, making a living for three of us, my wife and daughter,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't require much money. And then I'm given millions of dollars every year. If I receive more, I can pass it on to other people who are in financial needs and who can help people with money. Sometimes I can help people with knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes the easiest one is to help somebody financially. So if you receive more, you can give more. So if you just think that you receive for yourself
Mm-hmm.
or for your family, you may feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But if you feel not only for yourself, but for other people, so you can pay it forward,
Mm-hmm.
your money container will be bigger. So just receive it for others too.
What a great way to look at things. Your insights and wisdom are really something else, Ken. And it's little wonder that the world over, you've changed lives and made people better people. You're bringing out the best in people. What a gift that you have that you're able to do. As we begin to wrap things up, and so many questions to ask, but I want to be respectful of time. And I know you've been traveling today across different continents and time zones, and you're right on time. And I'm very grateful for your attention to detail and being with us. Let me wrap this up with a question I have the privilege and honor to ask every guest on the Deep Wealth podcast. And the question is this: when you think about the movie Back to the Future, you have that magical DeLorean car that will take you to any point in time. So, Ken, imagine now it's tomorrow morning and you look outside your window and the DeLorean car is not only there curbside, the door is open, it's waiting for you to hop on in. So you hop in, and this is the fun part. You can now go back to any part of your life. So, Ken, as a young child or a teenager, whatever point in time that would be, what would you tell your younger self in terms of life wisdom or life lessons? Or, hey, Ken, do this, but don't do that. What would that sound like?
I wrote about this in my book. I'll just go back to the time when my father's best friend slash his client committed suicide. Not
Mm-hmm.
only he killed himself, but he killed the entire family of four and killed himself. And my
Mm-hmm.
father got into heavy depression afterward
Mm-hmm.
because he couldn't help his best friend and his client. And also, my family went into a deeper, dark place. So I will go back to the time when I was, I think, 9 or 10 at the time. And then I would just be there. And I'm not going to say anything because I knew that incident really helped my early days to
Mm-hmm.
make up my mind to be financially free,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to provide money for my family and learn the secrets of money. I just want to be there, my little me, and just give my best to him and just embrace him. And I cannot make sure that somebody is overwatching him,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to be there to just see and that he's going to grow in his own way.
Ken, as you're talking about this, I want to share with you, you're not alone, because many guests have said, Jeffrey, I don't know if I would want to change anything because that would change my trajectory of where I would become, but I wouldn't mind going back in time just to take it all in, to see people when they were younger or people who are no longer here, and just to be a part of that because they were magical times. But I didn't realize it at the time, or I took advantage of the fact, well, I'll see them tomorrow. And what you're sharing is so insightful. And oftentimes at Deep Wealth, much like you with your mentoring program, we also have a coaching and mentoring program. And part of it is enjoying life today. And what we'll share with people is take a family dinner, just a regular, what seems like an every other day family dinner, not a big deal. And if you were to take a picture of that and it's 20 years from now, and you're looking at that picture that you took today, you'd probably say, weren't those the times? And unfortunately, some people who are in the picture, maybe they're no longer with us and everyone's younger. And wow, those were the days. And so what you're saying, such a powerful reminder, hey, be in the moment and just take it all in today, because who knows what tomorrow brings. And we're around people that we love and they love us and are meaningful to us. I really appreciate you sharing those insights and wisdoms with us. So Ken, sadly, we need to wrap up this episode, although I'd love to keep on going. Thank you for your insight and your wisdom. And I know for our listeners, we'll have everything as always in the show notes. Ken, is your website the best place for people if they want to reach out or if they have questions? Will your website be the best place for people to go?
You can find kenhonda.com and all the information is there. I'm translating a lot of stuff from Japanese to English, mostly free information. So you can do a little mini test and you can learn about your money types, which could be fun. You can find out if you're a spender, warrior, moneymaker, and that kind of thing. So if you're interested in what I shared today, go visit the website.
Terrific. And for our listeners, it won't be any easier. You go to the show notes, it's a point and click, and off you go. Ken, it's official. This is a wrap. And again, really a heartfelt thank you for your insights and your wisdom and going above and beyond with all your travels today. And as we say here at Deep Wealth, may you continue to thrive and prosper while you keep healthy and safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And I'm sending all my blessings and all my love and happy money energy to you and the viewers and listeners. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you so much. And right back at you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Deep Wealth experience was definitely a game changer for me.
This course is one of the best investments you will ever make because you will get an ROI of 100 times that. Anybody who doesn't go through it will lose millions.
If you don't have time for this program, you'll never have time for a successful liquidity.
I mean, it was the best value of any business course I've ever taken. The money was very well spent.
Compared to when we first began, today I feel better prepared, but in some respects, maybe less prepared, not because of the course, but because the course brought to light so many things that I thought we were on top of that we need to fix.
I 100% believe there's never a great time for a business owner to allocate extra hours into his or her week or day. So it's an investment that will yield results today. I thought I will reap the benefit of this program in 3 to 5 years down the road. But as soon as I stepped forward into the program, my mind changed immediately.
There was so much value in the experience that the time I invested paid back so much for the energy that was expended.
The Deep Wealth experience compared to other programs is the top. What we learned is very practical. Sometimes you learn stuff that is great to learn, but you never use it. The stuff we learned from Deep Wealth experience, I believe is going to benefit us both.
I've done an executive MBA. I've worked for billion-dollar companies before. I've worked for smaller companies before I started my business. I've been running my business successfully now for getting close to a decade. We're on a growth trajectory. Reflecting back on the Deep Wealth, I knew less than 10% what I know now. Maybe close to 1% even.
Hands down, the best program in which I've ever participated. And we've done a lot of different things over the years. We've been in other mastermind groups, gone to many seminars, workshops, conferences, retreats, read books. This was so different. I haven't had an experience that's anything close to this in all the years that we've been at this. It's 5-star, A+.
I would highly recommend it to any super busy business owner out there. And Deep Wealth is an accurate name for it. This program leads to deeper wealth and happier wealth, not just deeper wealth. I don't think there's a dollar value that could be associated with such an experience and knowledge that could be applied today and forever.
Are you leaving millions on the table? Please visit www.deepwealth.com/success to learn more. If you're not on my email list, you'll want to be. Sign up at www.deepwealth.com/podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, if it added value, if you walked away with some new insights and strategies, please leave a review on your favorite podcast channel. Reviews help us reach new listeners, grow the show, and continue to create content that you'll enjoy. And as we wrap up this episode, as always, please stay healthy and safe.